Hello, everybody. The Nameless Narcissist here once again. A simple man diagnosed with MPD, talking about narcissistic personality disorder and the stuff that goes on in my head. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. But keep in mind, I'm no clinician, so I can only speak to my own experiences. Follow my social media too while you're at it. Why not? I'm back on my meds, by the way. Thank God, my psychiatrist has stopped ghosting me. So this video will be a little bit more cohesive. So this is a topic that I can't believe I haven't done a video on before, if I'm being honest. Being indifferent towards a narcissist. Being indifferent. Oh my God. Like even the saying it out loud makes me shudder a little bit. I recently had a situation where I felt somebody was being indifferent towards me, very neglectful, stuff like that, right? And it causes like this anxiety in me almost. Because as you know, I rely on self-esteem juice and the appraisal of others outside of me to define myself. If people aren't reacting to me, if people aren't telling me who I am, I feel like I don't exist. I feel like it feels like the void that is always inside of me has just consumed me. Oh my God, what is happening? There we go. And that is a horrifying feeling. And it's not just praise and affirmation that I need, right? There's a few opinions on me that I find intolerable. Like disgust, I would say, is one that's intolerable because of how that makes me feel. Ineffectual, insignificant, stuff like that. Because in our grandiosity, it doesn't just have to be this positive affirmation that we are the best thing that's ever happened. It's just we have to have significance. If I can't have somebody's admiration, I would prefer to have their fear than their indifference. And if I can't have their fear, I prefer their hate. Because think about all those words I just used, right? All of those are still so me focused. It gives me significance. It means that I'm somebody. It means I'm something. The only thing intolerable of an opinion to have on me is the idea that I'm not worth these reactions. I prefer to be abused than to be ignored. To me, being ignored is the only kind of abuse that actually bothers me. If somebody's ignoring me, if somebody's being indifferent towards me, it's preferable for me to cut them out and just lash out at every one of their insecurities, bam, 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 that I'm always aware of, because when you're insecure about everything, it makes it pretty damn easy to tell what other people are insecure about. It's really easy, actually. I don't know how other people can't hone on that shit so easy. But because if they aren't reacting to me, if they aren't abusing me, that means I'm not even worth that. If somebody's abusing me, to some degree, that means they care. That's super unhealthy, by the way. Anybody watching this, please do not take that and be like, "Oh, they're abusing me. That means they care." They don't care. They don't care about your needs or wants, whatever. But that's what it feels like to me, right? If somebody is taking the time to be angry at me, if somebody's taking the time to hate me, that means that I'm important. If I'm in a relationship and they're hurting me, that means that they care about me enough to hurt me. Man, that's so fucking unhealthy, and I'm saying it out loud, isn't it? This is all super pathological, by the way. If you have those kind of thoughts, that obviously doesn't mean you have NPD, but it does mean that you have some maladaptive thoughts going on. Please get those fixed. Go to therapy. Fuck. When people aren't reacting to me, when I'm feeling ignored and neglected and like I don't matter, it's confirming everything I fear about myself. That deep down, I'm just small, broken, insignificant. All of my biggest fears. All my biggest fears that I don't matter, I don't exist. Because I barely do exist. I don't even feel like a real person. I never feel like a real person. I feel like a performance. And what's a performance without an audience? Like people like antagonists all the time, right? People sympathize with antagonists. People admire antagonists. I'd rather be an antagonist than a side character. That's it. I don't want to be a side character. I don't want to be somebody who's easily forgotten. It's actually a big issue with that. I have this fear that like when I die, nobody's going to remember me. And like this is going to sound so fucking weird. I literally go to like graveyards and like I will like read the names on them and like think about what kind of people they may have been, because like I'm hoping so much that when I die, somebody else is going to do that to my grave. And I really want a monument detailing all of my life, you know. I want to be immortalized. I don't want to be forgotten. I don't want to be nobody. And it really, yeah, and I know all that is like, that all that sucks. And to a certain extent, I feel like everybody fears that. Fears being forgotten. Fears being nobody. But it consumes a lot of my thoughts a lot of the times. When I was a kid, I would think about what ways could I be, like, remembered. And I was like, okay, if a nuclear war starts, which is a horrible, horrible way to start out that sentence, but I was like, maybe they can put a nuke inside my dead body and then drop me somewhere. And then I'll be remembered as not big boy or fat boy or big man or whatever the fuck they were called, but I will be narcissist man, I guess. I don't know. That's the kind of thing. It doesn't matter. Even if I lived in history in infamy, that is so much more preferable to being forgotten. I wish there was a better way for me to explain this. It's just, and I feel like this is like an identity thing where it's like, I need to know who I am. I need to be somebody. Like, and when I say need to be somebody, I don't even mean someone like important. I mean just anybody. I want to exist because it feels like I don't exist if people aren't looking at me. If people aren't admiring me or hating me or fearing me, then I don't exist. And I want to exist. I want to be a real person. But I don't feel like a real person. I really should have like thought about this video a little bit more before I started it, because as I'm going on, I'm like, this all sounds fucking nuts. Like when, and like, it gets especially bad when it's somebody I'm in an intimate relationship with, because like, I don't fear them hating me. That gives me some kind of comfort, because it meant that like I had an effect on them. It means they won't, like even like one of my exes who I regret how I treated her, right? The fact that like a few months back, I reached out to her after a couple of years. I'm like basically kind of trying to make amends, kind of curious. It's weird. And she had like this visceral reaction. She was like, I know you wouldn't be messaging me if you didn't think you had something to gain, which I was like, fuck, you have a lower opinion than me than I thought. But like that reaction was so much better than if I reached out to her and she just said, hey. At least I left an impact then. I know that that girl will never forget me. By the way, I didn't do anything that bad to her. I was, she says I was emotionally abusive. I would say I was emotionally neglectful, which maybe that's a form of abuse. I'm not going to defend myself on that one. I did treat her shitty. And I kind of emotionally cheated on her, but yeah, you know, whatever. Okay, it's bad. It's bad, okay? I'm taking responsibility. Just, I want to get past it. Shame. But yeah, I guess the thing that I fear the most is that I'm really not a real person. And if people aren't looking at me, if people don't acknowledge me, if they don't praise me, that's just a confirmation of that. That's confirmation I never existed to begin with. It's a confirmation of everything I knew about myself, that I am so insignificant that nobody could ever even love me. That I am so worthless that not even my parents could care about me. And that nobody can care about me. And that's why I react so viscerally to, especially in intimate relationships, when I feel like they're pulling away or being indifferent, I'm like, this is a confirmation. This is a confirmation that I'm so insignificant that nobody can ever love me. And no matter what I do, it's never going to be good enough. Damn, that got dark real fast. I guess this one wasn't a happy topic to begin with, but you know, it's hard, right? And this is like some of the things I always try to say about NPD. It's like, yeah, I have hurt a lot of people in my life. I'm never going to shy away from that, but fuck, it sucks. There's a lot of suffering that goes on over here too. Doesn't make it an excuse, right? But this is one of the important things to look at, to remember when, if you know a person who lashes out at you and they have NPD, it's not because they hate you. It's because they're so desperate to get rid of the fucking void, to like cover up that void and just to feel real for 2 seconds. It's because they think that you hurt them for whatever fucked up reason we came up with. And some of us have really good insight into our behaviors even. I once sort of like, I read some case studies that were like really impressive. It's like they knew exactly what they did. They just didn't really know, like they knew exactly why they were doing what they did. They just had no idea it was tied to narcissism. It was like that good old Neon story. Because even when I was younger, I always kind of knew it was like, I'm always searching for attention. I just need people to look at me. There was like 3 years of my life where not a single day I spent alone. Not a single one. Can any of you imagine that? Every single day going out just to feel like you're a real person. Needing that. And like that's what happened. And when I got back from basic and like I lost everybody and I was alone a lot, that fucking, It's like I was reminded of everything I've been trying to run from my entire life. It was just shoved in my face how shitty of a person I've been, how genuinely I was unlovable because I was just such a shitbag, and even to the people I was kind to, I kept them at such arm's length that nobody could ever even know me, never even get close to me. And nowadays it still feels like they can't. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they did know me. Maybe they did care about me despite knowing me. And it just feels just a pathological feeling that I was keeping them at arm's length. I remember I used to tell I had a friend back then that, I've eventually fucked over because I'm an asshole. And I would tell him that, like, I always feel lonely. And he's like, you have more friends than anybody I've ever known. And I, to this day, still get that sometimes. And I didn't have words for it back then because it was just such a weird feeling. But that feeling was being unable to connect to somebody. Because I feel fake all the time. I feel like nobody actually knows me. And I'm not sure, and I guess that is loneliness at the end of the day. Not being able to connect to anybody, not having anybody you think truly cares about you. It was sad. It really is. I'm not trying to throw a fucking pity party for myself, even though that is what I'm doing ostensibly. It's just very frustrating. And I get so angry when people, and it's like, I don't know, and it's like I expect people to, like, pay attention to me. Because I'm like, I need it. I'm trying to do everything I can for you. Just do what you need. I need. Please don't let me fucking go back to that void. Anything but that. I will do anything. And it feels, and then I'll, like, bring it up sometimes, be like, hey, I feel really neglected. Please, like, can we fix this, please? And it feels like they're always just trying to sate me, and nothing ever changes. Because I'm not entitled to their good treatment. I'm not entitled to them paying attention to me. And I shouldn't expect that of them. But I do. But I do because I need it. I need it so bad. And if I don't have it, I don't want to think about what will happen if I go back to that place again that I went all those years ago. Reminding me that I was still fucking disgusting on the inside. Fuck. Yeah, so don't ignore me. That's all I'm saying. Oh, I'm just joking. Okay. Yeah. Yay, Adderall's back, so I'm really on topic this time. Okay, hope you all have a good day. Take your fucking meds, please.